Hi guys, we're going to talk about section 5.3 today, which is called solving systems or linear systems through elimination. So far we've learned to solve systems through graphing and solve systems through substitution. And today is the last way, solving through elimination. So here we go. All right, so here are the steps. Go ahead and press pause and write the steps down. And then we'll go through a real example and talk about the steps. All right, so if I'm going to do the first problem here, remember that my answer is an ordered pair. The solution really means where the two lines cross. So if so the first step said to make either the x's or the y's opposites, and opposites meaning like one of them positive and one of them negative of the same number. So you can see from this example that negative 3x and positive 3x are already opposites. So this is a perfect example or a perfect setup for elimination. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine or add them straight down. So we're going to add these and then these y terms and then the constants. Okay, so we're going to add each of them and we're going to work down to do so. All right, so when I add negative 3x and positive 3x, that's 0. So those just cancel because they're opposite of the same letter, negative 3x and positive 3x. And then over here, negative 4 plus negative 6 would be negative 2y, and 12 plus 18 would be 30. And then I'm dividing both sides by negative 2, so y is negative 15. So now I've got half of the answer. So I put it in the y spot for negative 15. And then I can take the negative 15 and I can put it in the top one or the bottom one. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to put it in the top one. So negative 3x plus 4 times negative 15 equals 12. So, and I could have put it in either one. It should come out the same both ways. So 15 times 4 negative, I believe that's negative 60. I'm going to add 60 to both sides, which would be 72 on the right. And then I'm dividing by negative 3. So that's negative something. Let's see what. I don't know. 72 divided by negative 3 is negative 24. So negative 24, negative 15 is the solution to this system. So if I graphed it, I'd have to have a huge graph, but it would cross at those 2 points. If I did substitution, that would come up with my answer. Now, substitution would be a hot mess because nothing here has a coefficient of 1, so I'd have fractions everywhere. So elimination is definitely the best choice for this problem. All right, let's try another one. Okay, so what I notice here is that I don't have anything that's exactly opposite each other. So 2 and negative 3 are opposite signs, and 4 and 4 are the same number. So it would be easiest to manipulate it to change the top one or the bottom one. I'm going to do the bottom one. Multiply. So this is negative 4, not positive 4. So I'm going to multiply all of these by negative 1, all 3 of them. That's going to change the sign here to what I'm wanting. So 3x minus 4y equals negative 18. And then the top one didn't change at all. It stayed exactly the same. So the y's cancel. 3x and 2x is 5x. This is 10. I divide 5, and x is 2. So x is 2. I put it in that front spot. And then to get the other one, to get the y or its partner, I can put it in any of them, any of these 4 that I've written down. So I choose to put it in the top one. It doesn't matter where you put it, really. So 2 times 2 plus 4y equals 28. So that's 4 plus 4y equals 28. So 4y equals 24. And I divide 4, and y is 6. So my answer is 2, 6. And remember what that means? That's where the 2 lines cross on a graph. Okay, so when the opposites are close, like for the same number, but just same sign, I'm going to take 1 and multiply it by negative 1. Remember, my objective is to get them to be opposite of the same number, at least the x or the y. So something will cancel and I can solve for the other letter. All right, so press pause and you try this one and see what you come up with. All right, now there's a couple ways you could have done this. You could have multiplied the top one by negative 1 or the bottom one by negative 1. I'm going to go ahead and do the top one this time. it doesn't make a bit of difference which one you did. We're still going to get the same answer. So if I do that, that's going to give me negative 13a minus 5b equals 11. Okay, and I'm combining these two. Okay, so the a's cancel because they're opposite signs of the same number. Over here, this would be 6b, because remember, I'm adding positive 11 plus negative 5b, and then 7 plus 11 is 18. So if I divide 6, b equals 3. So this would be a comma b. So b is my second, just like x, y is alphabetical, a, b, so b would be y. And then I'm going to plug it back in. Okay, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do the original top. 13a plus 5b equals negative 11. So 13a plus 5 times 3 equals negative 11. So that's 13a plus 15. I'm subtracting 15. So that's negative 26. Divide 13, and that is negative 2. So my answer is negative 2, 3. Did you get it? I hope you did. Okay, even if you did negative 1 on the bottom one, we should have got the same thing. Okay, so even if you multiplied negative 1 through the second one instead of the first one. Because remember what the answer represents. It represents if we had to graph that thing, where the two lines would cross. All right, so this one's a little different, but not much. Okay, so which one do you think would be best to get opposite? The x's or the y's? Well, let's talk about that a little bit. So if I want to cross out the x's, the closest thing I could do here would be 6 and negative 6. So if I did that, I would have to multiply the top one by 3 and the bottom one by negative 2. So each of them, okay, that would be some work because I'm multiplying all of them by a particular number. Okay, so let's talk about the other option that we have. If we talk about crossing out the y's, and this is already a positive 2, if I make this a negative 2y, that would be opposite the bottom. So to get this to be a negative 2y, I would have to multiply all of this by negative 2. So if I multiply by negative 2, this one, and this one, okay, that would be negative 4x and negative 2y equals negative 46. Okay, so I'm combining these two. The top one I turned into this one, and the second one. So the y's cancel, and remember I'm adding them, so this is negative 1x, and then negative 46 and 37, I think it's 9, but let's make sure. Yeah, it's negative 9. And then we divide by negative 1, so x is 9. So I've got half the answer. So then I take the 9 and I plug it in. It doesn't matter into the original 2 or the one I came up with. I'm going to do the original one. So 2x plus y equals 23. That's where I'm plugging it in, putting the 9 right there. 2 times 9 plus y equals 23. That's 18 plus y equals 23. So if I subtract 23 minus 18, I think that's 5. Let's make sure. Yep. So my answer is 9, 5. Okay, your turn. You try this one. That's not a great one to try. All right, so here I'm going to have to multiply both. I don't see an easy way. I'm either going to have to go like 12x and negative 12x or 15y and negative 15y. So I think I'm going to go with the y's because they're already opposite signs and I won't have to mess with negatives. So I'm going for 15y and negative 15y. So therefore, the top one has to be multiplied by 5 to get this to be 15y. And the bottom one has to be multiplied by 3. Okay, so that would be 20x plus 15y equals 40. And the other one would be 9x minus 15y equals negative 69. The y's cancel because remember I'm combining them. So this is 29x equals negative 29. Then if I divide both sides by negative 20, or actually just by 29, x is negative 1. So my first term is negative 1. That worked out nicely. Okay, so now I'm going to take the negative 1 and I have 4 places to plug it. I can plug it here, 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 or here. I'm just going to do it in the top one, 4x. Okay, so 4x plus 3y equals 8. 4 times negative 1 plus 3y equals 8. Negative 4 plus 3y equals 8. So now I'm just using those solving skills that we developed so nicely. 7th grade and in 8th grade and in 9th grade in chapter 1. So my answer is -1, 4. Okay? All right. All right, you try this one. Try number 6. Press pause and give it a try. See if you get it right. I would probably go after the x's, -3x and 3x. That would be the easiest way to do that one. Give this a try, please. So I'm going to multiply this top one by -3. So that's -3x minus 15y equals -12. So the x's cross out. This is -22y and -22. So if I divide by -22, y is 1. And then if I put 1 back in for y, I think I'll put it back into the original. X plus 5y equals 4. So x plus 5 times 1 equals 4. So it looks like it's -1. So that's my answer. Did you get it? I hope you did. If you didn't, try to find your mistake. Try to fix it. So I have some more here. Oh, we should probably do this one. Okay, so this one right here, I can tell that things are going to get interesting because they're exactly the same except the constant, which probably means they're parallel, but let's look. So if I want to cross out one, let's just multiply the top one by -1. That'll make that -3x and +5y and +10. Okay, so both of these cancel. Over here, I have -2. Well, if there's no number here, I put a 0. Well, that's not true. 0 is not equal to -2. If it were equal, it would be infinitely many. But since it's not equal, it's no solution, which means those two lines are parallel. Okay, let's do a couple story problems. I know you had quite a few on the 5-2 homework. We struggled with those a little bit, so let's try to work these out. All right, a theater club sells a total of 101 tickets to its first play. Okay, so we've got a total number of 101 tickets. The student ticket's $1 and the adult ticket's $2.50. Total ticket sales were $164. Okay, what I see is I see two totals. I see that there's a money total and there's a total number of tickets sold total. So those are the two equations I'm going to have. So I'm going to have a money equation and a total number of tickets equation. So money and tickets. So let's do the money one first. So student tickets cost $1. So 1x, I'm going to make x the student tickets. I'd use s, but if I do, I'll get confused that it's a 5. And then I'm going to make a for adult to adult tickets. So plus 2.5a equals 164. So therefore, if I add some student and some adult, it'll give me 101. So x plus a. So remember, there's a 1 here. So these are almost perfect. I just need to multiply by -1. So I'm going to multiply the bottom one by -1. You could have did the top one. Doesn't matter. Okay, so that's -1x minus a equals -101. And the top one didn't change. So those cancel. These two, 1.5a, and then 101 minus, or 164 minus 101 is 63. And I just need to divide by 1.5. And that's 42. So 42 adult tickets were sold. The question is how many total student tickets? So I think I'll go back to this one because it's a fairly simple equation. So 1x plus 42 equals 101. So if I subtract 101 minus 42, that's 59. I can divide by 1, but I don't have to. So it's 59 student tickets and 42 adult tickets. But the question is how many student tickets? So the answer is 59. All right, here's another one. Okay, so you've got two totals here. Here's one, 130 minutes, and here's the other, 190 minutes. You press pause and try to write this equation, the two equations, and then give it a try and try to solve it. Okay, so two cars plus 3 trucks is 130 minutes, and 2 cars plus 5 trucks is 190 minutes. Okay, so I just went in order. Obviously, I made C cars and T trucks. So I like to do that instead of X and Y when I can, because then when I'm done, I know exactly which one I'm talking about. All right, so these are the same. They're just not the same sign. So let's multiply. I'm going to multiply the top one this time by -1. So that's negative 2C minus 3T minus 180. C's cancel. This is 2T. This is 60. So T is 30. So the number of trucks is 30. How long does it take to watch each type of vehicle? Well, it takes 30 minutes for a truck. So to figure out the car, I'm going to plug back in. I think I'm going to do the top one. 2C plus 3 times 30 equals 130. So that's 2C plus 90. So 2C equals 40. So cars equal 20 minutes. So cars are 20 minutes. So I have it all, and I use elimination to get it. Now, I could have graphed this, and I could have used substitution. I could have graphed or done substitution on any of these, but they were set up perfectly for elimination. If elimination is my preferred. So if I can cross out the X's or the Y's, I'm going to do that. I think the math or the algebra is more simple, or it just makes more sense to me. But you may like substitution better. I have a problem with substitution in that if I would solve for the cars or the trucks here to get one of the letters isolated, I would have fractions everywhere. I don't want to deal with fractions if I don't have to. Okay. And then graphing, this would be a huge graph, 20, 30, huge graph. So I don't want to graph because of that. All right. There's one like this in your homework. Your math test has 38 questions and is worth 200 points. Those are your totals. So one of your equations is about questions and one of your equations about points. Okay, the test consists of multiple choice questions worth 4 points. So I'm going to make multiple choice M. And open-ended. And I'm not going to make it O because that looks like 0. So I'm going to make it E. E is open-ended questions. Okay, so I'm going to start with the question. So I don't know how many of each type of problem there are. So I know that there are some multiple choice, and I know that there are some open-ended, and I know their total is 38. Now I can do the one about points. So multiple choice are worth 4, so 4M, and open-ended are worth 20, so 20E, and their total points is 200. So notice I used the numbers that all had points, points, and points all together in that same equation. All right, I could use substitution here very easily. I could move the M or the E over and substitute. But again, I like elimination. It's the elimination lesson, so I'm going to go ahead and do elimination. So I'm going to multiply this top one by -4. That's going to take care of the M's for me. So -4M minus 4E, 38 times 4, I don't know what that is, 152, negative. So I'm combining these two. This is just my original. So the M's cancel. This is 16E, and then 200 minus 152 is 48. And if I divide by 16, I get 3. So there are 3 open-ended questions. It says how many of each type. Well, I got to know how many multiple choice. The easier equation's right here. M plus E equals 38. So if I put my 3 in there, M plus 3. So if I subtract 3, it looks like there are 35 multiple choice questions. Okay, so the hardest point here, I think, is just writing the equations, finding your totals. All right, the perimeter of a rectangle is 25 inches. The length, L, is 3 times the width, W. What is the length and width of the rectangle? Okay, so perimeter. Perimeter's formula is P equals 2W plus 2L. And it says that the perimeter is 24. So in for P, I'm going to put 24. Okay, and then it says my next sentence, or actually just its length. Length is my equals 3 times width. 3 times the width. I want to know what the length and the width is. So that's how I came up with my second sentence. Okay, I just went word for word. Length is equals 3 times W. All right, I have to use substitution here. It's already solved for L. So I'm going to take my 3W, and I'm going to put it in right there. So 24 equals 2W plus 2 times 3W. Well, 2 times 3W is 6W. and then I combine like terms. So W is 3. So the width is 3. And then I can take this and put it in here. So width is 3 times 3. So length is 3 times 3. So the length is 9. So this rectangle is 9 by 3. So the length is 9 and the width is 3, or 9 by 3. Okay, so you're going to go do a big ideas assignment now. There are 14 problems. You're going to show your work for all 14 problems. Take a picture and submit the work on Canvas. And there should actually be work for 14 problems. Please number them so I can tell what's going on the work. Okay, this isn't like slope where you could just like jot a few things down. There is a major algebra going on here. You have to show your work so I can see what happened. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.